Hello, guys. I'm Lebogang Vondo, and this is the discussion table. Welcome. I promised you little pieces of myself. Moderation. Please don't forget to subscribe and like my videos. I've promised you pieces of myself in moderation. And one piece today that we're going to talk about is how toxic marriage can be. I was married, but I was a married single woman. I raised my kids on my own. But all I wanted society to know about was that I am married and I am happy. While I was dying inside, I was married to one of the most toxic men with verbal diarrhea. I spent a better part of that marriage knowing that nobody will look at me. But I later on found out why he would say such things to me. He didn't want me to leave him because that man never had a bone in him to leave me, actually. But he made sure that I also would not leave him. I'd believe that he was the best slice of bread that has ever happened to me. Did we build a beautiful life? Yes, we did. Did we achieve almost all the plans that we had? Yes, we did. Was I happy while we were achieving those? No. Was I living my best life during those times? No. My marriage was toxic, extremely toxic. Everything about that marriage screamed, get out. But I did not listen to myself. The early stages of my marriage, I did not. That later then started affecting my mental health. If many of you, or rather the ninjas, had watched on Owami's channel, when I had a breakdown on her channel about the mental health issue that I was on her channel to talk about, better parts of landing myself in hospital was because of my marriage. Of course, my job is demanding. A little bit toxic, if I can say, but I can handle the pressure at work. But home was the first prison that was actually opened for me. I was seen happy outside, but I was miserable inside. So I think it's safe to say I am getting a divorce. And I've been going through the journey of the divorce for some time now. Safe to say for some years now. It's still not finalized because it is contested. However, I want to bring to light that my silence did not mean that I didn't have a voice. My silence just meant that I was still dealing with my mental health before I can go out there and speak about my life or speak about what I've been through. Because as I unpack, you're going to find out how much pain, trauma I was put through. You know, abuse starts as something very small. And I think this is one thing that we never get to realize, that it is damaging to us, right? And it is enabling another person's behavior. I'm even shaking because when I'm thinking about the things that I've been through, it's a lot. It's a lot of things. I should have walked away a long time ago, but I didn't. And we are here now. You know, a slap. It's a slap today, but you get kicked tomorrow. Because what you allow will continue happening all the time. What you allow will continue happening. I remember the first time the verbal abuse started. I was called stupid. You know why I was called stupid? Because I found this man cheating. And he told me I found what I was looking for. And mind you, being married to a well-known person is a problem also. Because everybody knows the shenanigans that this person does wherever they are. You are the only person that doesn't know what this person is doing. And many people around me knew what was happening, and I did not know. The first time when I tried to raise the issue, I was called stupid. This is the first time that I found out what was going on. I was called stupid. That was the moment I was supposed to leave. Because at this moment, I was not even married. We were just staying together. We have a child together. We decided let's stay together. Because we have a child and we need to raise the child together. But I was raising my son alone. I was not raising my son with anybody. I was raising my son alone. Financially so, physically so, emotionally. I was alone. He was there also financially, let me rather say. He was there financially. But that's the only thing that he was good at. He was good at being there financially. Because he thought that being there financially was being there as a dad. Years went by and the abuse got more and more and more. I did not know that, or rather, I could not go and open a case at the police station because I loved this man more than I loved myself. I loved this man more than I should have loved him. Because why did I not go get him arrested so that he can pay for the things that he's putting me through? Why was I protecting him? In my head, it made sense that I'm protecting my child. But that would later come and have its own negative effects in my own life. Because if I don't get him arrested, because I didn't get him arrested, it meant he has an opportunity to hurt me again. That showed lack of self-love and self-respect and lack of boundaries on my part. I remember when I was working at one of the firms in Northcliffe, and I was traveling a lot. We had 2 cars. But because I needed to be at work very early in the morning, especially when we were traveling, I needed to be at work around 5 o'clock in the morning. So I couldn't drop off my child at school. My child had a dad, but his dad couldn't drop him off at school. I'd ask my dad to drop me off at work so that he can be able to drop off my son at school later on. And in my head, that still made sense. Tell me why. Tell me why did it make sense that I now have to ask my father to drop off my child at school when I'm leaving the man that I made the child with at school? Why was I asking my dad to drop off the child that I and this man decided to have? Why was he not taking responsibility of his own child? What I would later learn again was that I did not love myself. And I did not set clear boundaries in this relationship. And I realized that I would say things and I'd never act on them. So many things that happened to me, I allowed. Many things that happened to me, I allowed them to happen to me. I shouldn't have. But the Lebo now is more prouder of herself because of how she handles things now. Touch is a move now. With anybody, with everything. I'm quick to cut people off. I'm quick to go open a case against you. I'm quick to act against anything. But my former self will not have the courage to act. I remember experiencing this heart-breaking moment with my friend Tsolo. We were coming from church and my ex-husband's 16-year-old girlfriend was waiting for him at the gate. We were both at church. She was waiting for him at the gate. I'm coming out. I don't know who this girl is. Just a random child that is waiting there. I mean, I'm very old. I have a baby already. I am working. And when I see a young girl, for me, it's a young girl. Ingane encane. Kanti no, that's my husband's girlfriend. How do I know this? Because when we were walking out of church, I gave him the child. I don't think he knew that the girl will be waiting for him there, but she was. Or maybe he knew. And I think now they wanted to go do their own things. They wanted to go together. And he had to give me a child. Look at the rebellious me. He says, take the child. And I said, no. And if you know the church that I go to ZCC. So there's a lot of influx that is happening when the church is out and everybody's going home. It's full to capacity. He says, take the child. I say, no. He says to me, I said, take the child. And I said to him also, no. At this moment, I can see what is happening. I can't fight that child. That's a baby. That's a baby. I can't fight that child. But I can fight this one, that we have a child together. I'm like, no, I'm not going to take the child. He actually puts the child on the ground. As he puts the child on the ground, he kicks me on my leg. And then he spits on my face. This is a Christian man that I'm talking about. A respected man in his community. Respected by his peers as well. An abuser of note. Now he's kicked me on my leg. What can I do? Pick up my son and we go. Another episode of you do not love yourself enough, Lebo. Why do you keep putting yourself through the same thing? Take my child and I go home. And he would later come back home and he would not even apologize for what he did to me because he saw nothing wrong with it. But let me tell you who was to blame. Accountability is very important. I was to blame. I take the blame. I was to blame because I taught this man that it's actually okay to disrespect me in that way. I taught this man that you can walk all over me and do whatever that you want to do to me, and nothing will be done to you. And he got so comfortable because I did not speak out. No one knew what I was going through. And I will take my pain and my shame and walk back to myself. I know I've disappointed myself so much, so many times, especially in that marriage. But man, I just wanted my marriage to work. I wanted to have what my parents have. But I later found out that it was impossible for me to have what my parents have. I could never have what my parents have, especially in this marriage, that I've enabled a lot of behaviors. That's one incident. Another incident would happen that I work at where I'm working, and at the time I didn't have a car, but I was actually timed at what time I need to be home. I mean, I don't have a car. I don't knock off and get into my car. I knock off and go to the taxi rank to get a taxi to get home. First, fetch my child from crèche and then go to the taxi rank and then go home. We're now doing. You're not even thinking of going to fetch your own child so that you can make things easier for me. And I will be called. Where are you? What are you doing? Did you see the time? I'm not supposed to be back. Oh, I still walk from work to the taxi rank. Find a queue, wait my turn, get a taxi, get in, and then come home. How am I supposed to be home at this time when I don't own a taxi and I don't own a car? You know, my ex-husband was, he'd cheat with an unassuming person. That you think this one, it can be. So he cheated with a neighbor. At this time, when he cheats with a neighbor, when I go to work in the morning, from when I go to work in the morning or in the evening, depending with which shift I was on, this girl wako next door would come in. Mind you, this is a person that was involved in a car accident. Ne? For me, he's healing. Bufebe was also growing. Imagine how disrespectful you must be as a man to bring your girlfriend into your own house or the bed that you share with your wife. How do I find out? My ex-sister-in-law, the wife of his late brother, says to me, when you leave in the morning going to work, sometimes you must forget something and come back. I'm like, I can't afford that, mna. I have a job. I can't afford to be late. I respect my job, so I can't afford to do that. I would later ask her why. Why is she saying those things? And she said to me, because shenanigans are happening in your house when you are not here. When you leave for work in the morning, this girl comes here. Because another way nikerata chelete kati. Hey, talaga ithanda imali. The way I loved money, I'd do overtime at work. If there was any overtime, I'm telling you, my supervisors or managers never had to ask me. They would put me on the list already because I want to do overtime. Because I wanted a better life for myself. And she says, this girl comes to your house to sleep here with your husband. Sure. That broke my heart. That broke my heart. But then that moment again taught me that what I allowed will always happen. What do I mean by that? I'd allowed that man to disrespect me so much. And I allowed him to box me to a point where I think, this is it. This is my life. He is my life. And no man is my life. I had a life before him. And I'll have a life after him. But I did not know that. I did not know better. I didn't know my strength outside of that marriage. I feared marriage. I feared divorce so much. And everything else that I feared in life happened in that marriage. Abuse happened in that marriage. Cheating happened in that marriage. Catching STIs happened in that marriage. I'm grateful that the only thing I did not catch was HIV. But those things, I allowed them to happen to me. I allowed a man to treat me like garbage. I allowed a man to speak to me like I don't matter. I allowed a man to think he's the center of my universe. And of course, I made him that. Why? Because I wanted to stay married. So many things that I have taken decisions of and taken them upon myself and my ability to fix them. I wish I had done them sooner. You know, when you start speaking, people think you are seeking revenge. No, I'm not seeking revenge. And I know very well that that man is not a bad person. He was just not a good man to me. I know he's capable of loving. He was just not capable of loving me. Look at me as a teenager having a child at that age. And I'm doing everything on my own. And I still do not see anything wrong with it. Remember when I said, I married that boy? I did. I married a boy that later became a man. But he did not leave the boy tendencies. He carried them into the marriage. He ran with them into the marriage. And I enabled the behavior. I allowed so many things to happen that should not have happened to me. Man, pain ate at me. Shame ate at me. Shame ate me. Because now I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to walk away. I'm embarrassed. I can't even start over because I don't know where to start. If you think that was enough, as in that was not enough that he's put me through. He still put me through so much that I think the cracks started showing at work. I'm always fighting. So I'm not sleeping enough. So when I get to work, instead of working, I am sleeping. What was the breaking moment for me? Was when my son broke his arm at school and I could not even call this man that is his dad to actually come and take the child to hospital because I am traveling, I'm in Mpumalanga. And, guys, it's a lot. Now I have to call a friend to come and help me so that I can rush back from Mpumalanga to go and help my son in hospital. Then my friend went, fetched my son from school and took him to hospital. Let's catch up again on the next video. I know this was very heavy. Hopefully in the next video, it's very light and we can laugh a little bit. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like my videos. This is the discussion table. Till the next one.